Hello, welcome, good evening. My name is Wendy and I love to go live with you on a video now with Matt Bennett. He is the author of multiple books on raw veganism, on healing, about nutrition, and well, let's let him in. I've spoken with Matt a couple of times before and I would like about his new book that's part of the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle. And it's the 5-Star Salad Revolution ebook.
Hey,
Hello, Matt.
Wendy.
How are you?
I am so good. How are you?
Good. Great to see you live. It's
You too.
always a pleasure to host you.
What's that?
It is always a pleasure to see and to host you.
Oh, likewise. Yeah, I love connecting with you, Wendy. It's always a good time. So thanks for having me.
Welcome. I introduced you already a little bit, and I'm really looking forward to asking you about all the knowledge that you have and that you are sharing in your latest book.
Thank you.
Out with the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle. So 5-Star Revolution salads, and it's not salads in there, guys. It's not just like a bunch of recipes. There's really in-depth nutritional information about toxins and pesticides and the metabolism of your body, and about vitamins and what they do and what they are, and it goes really deep. So Matt, I want to really congratulate you on this one. I can see you put a lot of time and effort in writing this wonderful book. So thanks. What do you want to say about it? What inspired you to do this awesome book?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. It did take a lot of time, so yeah, it's nice to finally have it done. I mean, you know, the inspiration for it was really just, you know, noticing how a lot of people don't enjoy salads as much. You know, people don't eat a lot of leafy greens, even in the raw vegan movement. So, yeah, I just felt like there was some clarity that needed to be brought forth for, you know, the importance of leafy greens and kind of the role that they, you know, that I think they should play in the human diet. And so, yeah, I just put together a book that, you know, kind of covered all the bases with it, you know, the anti-nutrients, all the benefits, you know, why people don't necessarily like leafy greens as much as, you know, they probably should. And then, yeah, the recipes as well. I love making salad dressing recipes. And so those are the recipes that I'm most excited about. But then I figured, you know, people need other ways to get leafy greens into their diet as well. So I put in some smoothie recipes, some juice recipes, and then, yeah, some salad recipes, of course. So yeah, that was kind of the inspiration.
Yes, and I've seen your previous books as well with the recipes, and then I got here and I was like, are there even, like, I started like, this is not about recipes. Oh wow. Oh wow, tips on preserving, time saving. Whoa, this is really, like, I just thought I exaggerated with, like, I don't know exactly how many pages, but I got to like 70 or 80 or something. And I was like, 190 pages, guys. That's a Bible on salads.
Yeah.
So I just have some random funny questions, unless you want to share something specific. So what's your favorite herb that you like to use, and why should people use it as for, like, beneficial?
Ooh, that's a good question. My favorite herb, I would probably say, I mean, I really like basil. Basil is one of my favorite herbs, but it's really hard to pick one because I love dill, I love cilantro, but yeah, I think herbs in general are just, you know, they're packed with nutrients, for sure, but they also just give the salad, I do, one of the pillars of my 5-star salad is to include a fresh herb in there. And the reason I encourage people to do that is just, one, the flavor is incredible. So you can just add such a beautiful, you know, additional flavor to that salad that just makes it so much more enjoyable. And you get all those nutritional benefits as well. You know, herbs are very, I mean, medicinal, really. And so they can really give you, you know, not just a good flavor, but they can give you a lot of good nutrition.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I love basil as well. But
Yeah.
dill.
Not
I
so
like
much.
leafy greens, but vegetables. What is holding people back from eating salads, actually? Like, what is the biggest secret there?
Yeah, so I do think that, you know, there's probably a few different reasons why, but I think the main reason, so this is what I talk about in the book, is, you know, the dopamine response that we get from food really kind of dictates the amount of pleasure that we are feeling from that food. And when we grow up, you know, most children from conception, you know, standard American diet, you know, their mother is eating the standard American diet. They're getting that, you know, as they're being grown. And then once they're born, they're fed baby foods and formulas that oftentimes have, you know, oils and high fructose corn syrup and other ingredients that really hyper stimulate their palate and their intestinal tract. And so, you know, then as they get even older, they're fed, you know, cupcakes and cookies and pie and all these things that, again, it's just hyper stimulating their palate. And that really sets the bar so high for, you know, their dopamine response. And I give the example of like coffee, right? The caffeine in coffee. So the first time somebody has a cup of coffee, you know, that makes them they really feel it. And then, you know, maybe a little time goes by, they need 2 cups to get that same stimulation because their body adapts to that. And so then they need 3 cups and 4 cups, and all of a sudden they're drinking like 2 pots of coffee a day just to get that same stimulation that they got when they first originally had it. And so that's kind of what the body does with our food that we eat as well. So when you're brought up on these foods that are just hyper stimulating you all the time, you eat something like a leafy green or a salad, and you know that's like 100 calories per pound leafy greens. So there's like very little dopamine that's probably going to be generated from that in comparison with like a cookie or a candy bar. And so that's probably what I think is the reason why most people just don't have a taste for these natural healthy foods, is because, you know, their taste buds are so numbed out. They require such a high level of stimulation. And so the way to kind of balance that back out is, one, remove the junk food, and then just start bringing in more fresh fruits and vegetables as much as you can. And that's why I give the green smoothie and the green juice recipes, because, you know, as long as you're starting to bring in more leafy greens, you're going to start to develop a more of a taste for them. And so if you can sneak them in, like in smoothies, you got the fruit in there that kind of hides the taste of the greens. You know, just as long as you're getting those nutrients in, eventually you'll start to actually enjoy the taste of leafy greens, and your body won't be so hyper stimulated that now it'll be able to actually enjoy and appreciate all those subtle flavors that you get from that. So I think that's why people struggle with eating salads, because they're so hyper stimulated.
And so, guys, it's not your fault, because that's just the way our brain is set up. And it's also the way, and I read that in your book as well, it's also the way that the industry made those junk foods that way. They just want you to be hooked on their product, so you keep buying it over and over again. It's their way of making a sale. It's their way of living as well. So it's not your problem. I'm not sure. Well, actually, maybe it is your problem, but it's not your fault. At least it's not your fault.
Yeah.
It's not your fault. But that doesn't mean that you cannot be in control. And so then you can be in control, as Matt says, and it takes us a while for your taste buds to change. They're just little cells and they start changing. I think I changed it like 2 weeks already. Make a big difference, right, Matt?
Yeah, definitely. It really doesn't take that long.
We have some comments from people here. From Star Vegan Love, she said, I love dill, I love all kind of herbs, and caffeine is a drug. Yes, the brain reacts to it like it is a drug, indeed.
Yeah.
And Susan says, I never got any stimulation from coffee. I only drink 1 cup a day now. And basically for flavor once in a while, but I used to drink it all day, more of an addiction than for the flavor.
Yeah.
So, and now she craves veggies and fruits daily. And says, if I don't eat them, I get the shakes and feel like crap. Well, that sounds very familiar.
Yeah.
Let's bring the salads back. Yes, absolutely. And Matt will help anybody bring the salads back. So for everybody that is watching, if you have not checked out Matt's book, it's part of the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle right now. Like, we're both part of it. You'll get his book, you get my course, 7 Simple Steps to Unlimited Energy, and you can check out the bundle through either one of our bio links.
Yes.
So yeah. So Matt, I saw also that you explained a little bit about iodine and goiter in your book, and I thought that's real good in-depth information for all of those people. Yeah, you know, there's so many people worried about it, and there's so many people with hormonal disbalances. So what can you say about that? Like, how can I improve my hormonal balance, and what's iodine got to do with it?
Yeah, really good question. So yeah, I do talk about a lot of the anti-nutrient concerns that are kind of floating around, and goitrogens is one of those concerns. And so, you know, people hear cruciferous vegetables, and a lot of times they associate that with goitrogenic compounds. And so they're afraid that that's going to cause issues with their thyroid and their hormones, like you said. And so I just, you know, there's plenty of evidence that when we have sufficient iodine levels in our body, that the goitrogenic effects of some of these compounds really don't have any real world consequences. Like the reason why these fears have been put out is because they're taking these studies that were done by isolating the compound out of the whole food, and then this is typically how it's done. They isolate the compound, and then they give it either to cells in a petri dish or to like a mouse or a rat in very high doses that are much higher than we would naturally encounter them in food. And so then it has an effect, and then they just extrapolate that, and they just say that that's what's going to happen when you eat the actual food. But what we know is that the foods that contain a lot of these compounds are really some of the healthiest foods for people, you know, that have been studied anyways. And so, I mean, there's concerns for a certain population, but it's really a small population of people that have other pretty serious health conditions going on in the first place. And so it's not really applicable to the general population. And so I think people get confused about that. And really, when you look at it, there's so many goitrogenic compounds, you know, in our daily lives that people don't really realize. And a lot of it is like environmental pollutants, industrial pollutants that, you know, even fluoride and chlorine can be goitrogenic. They can affect the thyroid's ability to uptake iodine. And so, you know, these are things that people are getting in their water, and, you know, in the shower and all these things. And so I personally, and like I mentioned in the book, I think that the more important you know, thing to consider when it comes to keeping our hormones and our thyroid healthy is to avoid some of these environmental pollutants, and not so much be concerned about a salad, which is
Right.
full of very health promoting foods, and
Yeah.
you know, so yeah, but keeping an eye to making sure that you have sufficient iodine is important, because that, you know, the goitrogenic compounds basically inhibit the thyroid from taking up iodine. And so, you know, you want to make sure that you're getting sufficient iodine. And I like to just, you know, use like nori or dulse a couple times a week. You don't want to go too overboard with it, because you don't want to get too much iodine either, right? So, you know, a couple
Yeah,
times a
yeah.
week, get some iodine in. And there is small trace amounts in many foods as well. So, yeah, that's kind of the gist of, you know, the general idea of what we talk about in the book. And yeah, so I think it's much overblown in the general discussion of health,
Yeah.
you know, so yeah.
So people are more afraid of their greens than they are of the chloride pool, for example.
Yes.
Or the chloride cleaning product that they put the half of the bottle in the kitchen to disinfect the whole kitchen.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly. Or the medications they're taking, a lot of the medications they take, or the antibiotics. You know, 20 to this is what I found in my research, is that roughly about 20% of the conversion of thyroid hormone T4 into T3 is actually done in the gut. So if we are taking things like antibiotics and we're drinking chlorinated water and fluoride, you know, that those chemicals can impair those healthy bacteria that are responsible for that conversion process. And so, you know, that's just another thing to consider, is you always want to make sure you're taking care of your gut microbiome, and you're not taking in a lot of these like antibacterial chemicals, because those are having so many different effects, and the thyroid is one of the downstream effects that could impact.
You don't want to disinfect your insides, because you need that microbiome. And it's so interesting, like all these bacteria, microorganisms in the gut, they make the neurotransmitters, or when they are in a different location, they're called hormones, like T3, T4. And this is actually what is driving you. And I find it also interesting what you mentioned before, that the foods that make those stimulating, you know, the stimulating effects in your body, you have microorganisms, you know, they digest that, and they send out these neurotransmitters to your brain to tell you to eat, like, no, don't eat leafy greens. I don't live on leafy greens. You, the microorganism, is telling you, go eat the pizza. Go eat the pizza over there, because I live on, I don't know, the dough. Or, you know, go eat the steak, because I'm a microorganism that loves steak. And if you don't feed me steak, I'm going to die. And then you eat these leafy greens, and all the other ones are going to go sending you these signals like, hello, we're going to die. Eat the other stuff. Right? And I think this scientific, well, it's okay, maybe you didn't do the scientific research, but it's very clear, it's very cognitive, it's very good information that is in your book that can really like support people, like, what do I do with my thyroid, what is it, how does it work with your hormones. So I feel that everybody that is going to read your book will really go like, oh, okay, so shouldn't eat that then, or that iodine that they told us about in that video, so if I eat my broccoli, it's okay, but it might affect me, or might not affect me in a negative way for my thyroid. Okay, well, if you just eat broccoli, apparently it doesn't affect you.
Right.
But it does little bit inhibit the functionality of absorbing iodine. So you don't want to avoid iodine products all the time and eat only broccoli all the time, right? You want to do the variety.
Yes.
And I see you have a lot of variety also at the recipe, so I really love that.
Yeah.
Just something different. What did you have for breakfast?
Today I had watermelon for breakfast. I usually have a big smoothie, but today I had watermelon because we went out to the farmer's market, and I didn't really have time to make a smoothie. So when we got home, I just had a little bit of watermelon, and I'll probably make a smoothie here after our live here. But yeah, that's what I had, watermelon.
Yeah, so it's morning, right? It's
morning.
Yeah,
it's 12:30 right now.
Okay.
So, yep. How about you? What did you have?
Oh, what I had for breakfast? I just had my dinner.
Yep.
That was I made Green Goddess spinach wraps from Melissa's book.
Ooh.
And what I had for breakfast? Oh yeah, mango.
Nice.
Mango, and after the mango, I did something. I did some exercises and jump up and down. And then I made a smoothie of another mango and 5 frozen bananas, decorate with some strawberries and kiwi on top. Yeah, so that was my breakfast.
Beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Yes. Looks like Star Vegan Love had honeydew for breakfast. Mm-hmm. That sounds good.
Yeah, I saw another comment. I was just trying to scroll back a little. Susan says, I've been eating more raw. I've got 4th large thyroid nodules. Okay, go raw. It will balance out. And there was a question about, I saw a question about Nori or Dolce, and if you need to supplement. And I think like supplements are like those rats that did the test on, right? It's an isolate from something, and usually it's not even an isolate coming from a plant. It is something that is synthetically made. Yep. And the body our biology is set up in a way to recognize the whole plant and not just one compound with nothing around it. It doesn't understand how to deal with that. So an overdose in a supplement, I would never recommend that. I would always say buy some nori or wakame or any other interesting seaweed that you love. Are there also plants that you know that have iodine that are not seaweed?
From what I understand, like strawberries are supposed to be higher in iodine. I think potatoes maybe. I looked it up a while ago. I can't remember exactly which ones are higher. Maybe broccoli. Yeah. I just remember strawberries stick out to me. I definitely remember those were higher up on the list. But again, it does depend on the iodine level in the soil. So it's hard to know for sure, but and that's why I include a little bit of seaweed a couple times a week, because that is more reliable, I think, for iodine.
Yeah, but even something like banana, and we have something that's a wrap, but I don't know, it's kind of root turnip or something. They have it here in the market. It's like white and purple root. It has iodine. Okay. But yes, it has even bananas. Yeah. Even bananas. So like even bananas have iodine. So so your body really understands what to do with that. Yep. And mango has some iodine, I learned. Yeah. And I mean, I had the back of my thyroid inflamed. So when I was going through your book, this was one of the questions that I like, oh, I can talk about that, like I have personal experience like that with that as well. Yes.
Yeah. So, and that's another thing where I feel like when the seaweed is definitely a higher source, but when you look at when people try and eat certain foods for certain nutrients, the thing is a lot of foods that we don't typically associate with certain nutrients, most of these foods have trace amounts. And so if you're eating a large amount of whole plant foods, you're really going to be getting in most of these nutrients, in sufficient levels, I think. So yeah, I mean, that's why when people think about calcium, they just think of cow's milk or, something like that. But, fruits, a lot of fruits have a lot of calcium, and a lot of leafy greens have a lot of calcium. So, there's all these different nutrients in most of these whole plant foods that we have. And so this is why eating a large volume and a good variety of whole plant foods is really going to be, it should be the foundation of everybody's diet to help you make sure you're getting, you know, adequate nutrition on a full, you know, full spectrum.
Yeah. What would be your favorite way to feel energized with food throughout the day? So what would be your favorite?
Ooh, my favorite way to feel energized with food. Well, first I would go take your 7-day course, and I would take advice from Wendy. But I would say, you know, fruit, energy-wise, fruit, I think fruit is a good way to go. Starting the day off with like a smoothie or some whole fruits. That's my favorite way to start the day, is with fruit, and that really gives me the energy I need to do what I need to do.
So that's cool. And if you need to recharge, like let's say you need to recharge.
Yes.
What do you do? What do you do? You need to recharge. You're tired. It's 4 o'clock. I don't know if you have that, but a lot of people have that. Wendy,
yeah.
I'm always so tired at 4 o'clock. What do I do to recharge my energy level?
That's a good question. Definitely. You know, I would first look at how much sleep you're getting. How much sleep did you get the night before? Because sleep is really a big part of our energy levels, even more so than food, I think. And also, I know that you talk about this in your book. I mean, I need to dive deeper into your book still, but what I saw, it was super comprehensive, and I love the holistic nature behind it, because you talk about sleep, you talk about stress levels, right? Stress levels is another big one. So you know, if it was 4 o'clock and I was feeling tired, I would think about how much sleep I got the night before, and I would work on that going forward. And then I would look at my stress levels, and, you know, maybe do some meditation. Maybe 5 minutes of meditation would be what you need to really kind of stabilize your mental state and get into a more positive flow. And then, I don't know, I might have like a green juice or a green smoothie, or just a piece of fruit. I don't know. But those are kind of the first things I would think about.
Yeah, good things, good advices. I think that will help most people through their 4 o'clock afternoon dip. And here in Spain, it's very hot now.
Oh, I bet.
And people like do siestas, you know, and I understand with the temperatures we're having here, that, yeah, sometimes you just need a break.
Yeah.
And then, oh yeah, I didn't sleep very well. It's like, oh, there you have it. There you have it.
Yeah.
Okay, and now I want to ask you another question about your book.
Okay.
Should we be afraid of spinach?
Well, yeah, the oxalates in the spinach.
Yeah.
I don't. Again, this is very similar to the goitrogen issue. You know, oxalates are a very natural part of humans. You know, our liver makes oxalic acid, and so that is the compound that's in these leafy greens, and really pretty much every plant food in small amounts. But what happens is oxalic acid, it has an affinity for minerals and metals, but like calcium, magnesium, and other minerals, it can bind to. And this is where people are afraid that it's going to create calcium oxalate stones, kidney stones. But what I have found is that the dietary oxalates that we consume, except in things like spinach, so spinach does have a higher amount, as well as beet greens and rhubarb and chard. So those 4 plant foods are especially high in oxalates. But otherwise, all the other foods that contain oxalates, all the other leafy greens, so the amount that we take in through our diet has very little effect on the excretion of oxalates in our urine. So the oxalates that are within the body are mostly determined on internal factors. It's not through our diet that's giving us those higher oxalate values, because the oxalic acid is already bound to the calcium in the leafy green or in the plant food, and it doesn't get absorbed. It's too big to get absorbed. It just passes right out the stool.
And that's
so
awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So the excess oxalate that's in the food, the whole food, right?
Yep.
The whole
Yep.
food with the magnesium and the calcium,
Yep.
gets pooped and peed out, and we don't have to worry about it affecting our body, because our liver is making this kind of oxalates themselves, and that is where it is. And so, yeah, I understand, like, if you have a very acidic body and your lymph is super stagnated, and you have like depleted or your calcium magnesium reserves and your gut microbiome is almost non-existent, I can understand that high amount of spinach would affect you way more than somebody that's a little bit more healthy.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm happy. I feel good about my spinach wrap.
yeah, no, it's still a very healthy food, you know. Spinach is great. It is probably wise, and that's why, you know, a lot of people recommend rotating the greens that you eat, so that you're not taking in, if you're only eating spinach and you eat a lot of spinach, and you have a poor microbiome status, like you said, you might be increasing your risk. I still think it's a smaller risk, but maybe a small increase in the risk of kidney stones. But yeah, like you said, take care if you're causing inflammation in your body, because inflammation also increases the binding or the formation of calcium oxalate within the body. And so keep your diet very healthy, alkalizing, and take care of your kidneys and your gut microbiome. And personally, I don't think there should be any worries about eating spinach or really any of the higher oxalate greens even, but just rotate them and don't only focus on those.
Yeah, I believe that. So good advice. And also, people were worried about the kidney stones. There are factors in the body that can promote hardening and make calcifications and any different kind of calcifications. And the pH level, the acidity or alkaline level, is so important factor if you're going to make the stones. And you're making the stones to protect your body, actually. So yeah, if this is happening, there are also ways with eating a lot of fruit and leafy greens to break them down again. And there are actually foods that help you break down. And I should also be worried more about what we talked about, the chloride, but especially fluoride. Fluoride is a factor that promotes making calcifications, like a kidney stone. And so when we do this healthy diet and we wash our greens and our fruits, we have way less of those chemical isolates in our body, so we don't have to worry about it, right? Yeah. That's what I've learned along the way. And I just want to say to all the people that are here, that now a lot of people left and some people came, I really appreciate you all listening and being here. And if you have any questions for Matt or for me, or about the diet or the book or energy levels, well, you can come back. I think we're speaking on Monday as well, right? Monday. Yeah. Monday you'll be hosting. Yep. So you can feel, for people watching, put your questions here. You can do it, and yeah, if you want to check out the bundle through our links as well, that you can look at the book and my course in there. So yeah, Matt, one other maybe funny questions. Yeah. Funny question for you. If you had one, what is your affirmation for today?
Ooh, that's a great question. My affirmation would be to follow your intuition. Follow your raw intuition. Actually, it would maybe be authentic. That's kind of always my general affirmation, is to embrace your authenticity. Because as we all have a unique message and gift to share. And you know, there's too many copies in the world. We just need to be ourselves and be unique. And so that's usually what I try and remind myself to do every day. What would yours be?
Well, first of all, I do really also my best to be the real me and to feel what my soul, my higher self is telling me through my intuition and bring that about. And so, yeah, I also have sometimes that ego that is in the way where I'm aware of it or acting an automatic program. And I feel that communicating about things like that that's going on inside yourself is super authentic, and it helps yourself and others as well. So I love your affirmation. Well, actually, my affirmation always, I don't know why, it's always to just be happy.
Yeah.
And for me, when somebody asks me something or there's it and they say, okay, what's your affirmation? I always automatically come with just be happy. Because everything that happens for a reason. That's how I feel.
Yeah, me too.
And there is a purpose. I mean, there is really a purpose, even if it's the most shitty thing ever. There is a purpose of your soul wanting to go through that experience to gain some qualities. And it sounds very nice in theory and really hard when you're in it. But I've been on both of those places where I've heard about it and I was like, okay, I believe it, but I don't know really what they believe, you know, like when you experience something really shitty for multiple times, like I did, and you can't go further with your life anymore because you think you're like, this is dying, I can't move, I can't talk normally, I can't think anymore, my body doesn't work. And then to go through that, after that, I learned so many qualities, you know, in that process of from there until where I am now, that I think this shitty thing was actually a really good thing, and it was actually a gift to be grateful for, so I can be happy anyway. So whatever now happens, I know it's going to be a wonderful process in which I learn more about myself and life and be happy. So don't worry, be happy.
I love it.
I got some questions here.
Cool.
Star Vegan Love said you should all lead a midi meditation. Well, if you click the link, you go to the bundle. In my course, actually, I have meditations to really guide you through this process where you can connect to yourself. And I would love to do more mini meditations. And you can, you can like really reprogram yourself for eating healthy as well, using all Matt's knowledge. There was another question, and it comes in that question screen on the right. And it says, everybody will see it on the screen, but I don't know how to really work that, but it's new. Oh, look, it's coming. What is your favorite leafy green?
Hey, Tessa. Well, mine is, that's tough too. I mean, it's so hard to pick a favorite fruit or vegetable. I would say, or leafy green. I would say maybe, I really like arugula, but I like butter lettuce a lot too. So
it's a difficult choice. I have to say, like, oh, I want to do icebergs, my favorite. Oh no, then I can't have arugula. And then when you know, so you then you get, but I love butter lettuce. Oh no, I love butter lettuce. It's just not always available. I can't go without that neither. Like, there's so many wonderful options.
Mustard. I really like mustard greens too.
Oh yeah, me too. But I don't have a garden here. So,
I hardly ever. I haven't had them for years because I just never see them at the store. But I have had them, and they're really good.
Yeah, when I had my garden, I was I throw outside some really old mustard seeds. I just got new ones because I thought they were finished, and then I found some and like, I don't know how old they are. I don't want to make mustard of them. I threw them in the garden to see what they will do. And for the next 5 years, every year they grow, seeds come, I harvest the seeds, they fall on the ground, new grow, and there's always fresh, tender baby mustard plant leaves, sometimes really strong and sometimes soft. So if you have them, people, it's so easy, and you can make your own raw vegan mustard. You do not have to miss out on mustard. Really, I love mustard.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
And I even have a movie, how do you say that? Yeah, a film on YouTube about this whole thing about mustard leaves and mustard and how to make it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I have to check that out.
It's a long time ago, so I think it's in Dutch.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like a really long time ago. Yeah. But there is I think the mustard recipe, I do have a very short video in English.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like when I started in 2018, I made all these videos and nobody saw them because I still have, I think, 10 subscribers.
Yeah. I know how that is.
And I made most of them on Facebook at the time. Facebook was everything. So I'm slowly now moving them to YouTube because, you know, they can still be very useful, I think. Nice. Sometimes listening to yourself can be useful. Is
your YouTube the same as your Instagram handle? Healthy by Wendy? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And I also have one for the Dutch Food Festival as well.
Okay.
So yeah, Dutch Food Festival is also my thing. So
nice. Yeah, I know, that's so cool.
But that's where I put all my interviews with people like yourself. I think that your video from last time is also on that channel.
Cool. Nice.
Then you're going to find it back. So yeah. We have 10 to 8. Oh my God. Is there something else you want to share with our audience today before we close? Because I want to talk with Nate after this.
Nate's always an awesome guest. So yeah, that'll be
yes.
Yeah. You know, I mean, I think we covered it pretty good. I appreciate all your questions. That was really fun to answer. And yeah, I look forward to Monday. I don't remember what time it is, but yeah, we're going to talk more about your it's like a book and a course, right? You got videos and you said meditations, and then there's a nice book that you can read through. So
yes, it's the course inside the course. There you have 7 steps. It's really good to do it in 7 days and then repeat it the next 7 weeks so you can really integrate it. You have 1 workbook per step, and there's video per step, so per topic, and it really is sequential. So don't start at 5, start at 1. And I did put the 7-day meal plan because there's a 7-day meal plan, so that if you have 1 week, you just take the meal plan. It's simple recipes. That means easy and fast to make. Only a few ingredients per recipe to make it to the week. You know, like for people like, okay, I'm covered for this week. I'm doing the course.
Yeah.
And so, and the PDF that comes with the bundle, that's really just an introduction story about myself. And you can rate your energy level there. Like there is a test in there how to rate your energy level, and you can see where you're standing energy wise. And you can also see where you're giving it away already. And then at the bottom is like, sign up for the course because, you know, like you can improve your energy level by doing the course. Go here. And, then you come on my website. Yeah, that's how it works.
Very cool.
So Matt, thank you for sharing everything about your new book. And I'm looking forward to our next talk on Monday.
Me as well. Thank you so much.
And everybody else, thank you for watching. And we hope that you are going to join our next live video. So even if you already have the bundle, you can also check out the schedule on that website and join us. So I'll be inviting Nate in, and yeah, we speak on Monday.
Nice.
So thank you so much.
All right. Enjoy your combo with Nate.
I will. Thank you so much. Oh my God, I forgot to say, everybody get love from Karen Ramsey. She said, give Matt hi from Karen. So I almost at the end before I closed it.
Yeah. That's awesome. Tell her, I mean, I'll talk to Karen, I'm sure, but yeah, give her my love back.
All right. Much love to you as well.
Yes. Love to you.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Bye guys.
Bye.